Like it's always there. Thing is that so it's not it is you're missing big cool. Think so. But it's a new mistake. I think that's right. Sorry. Softly. Yes.
Just like that, a healthy person in the prime of his life can be changed forever. So, question: what can you do with a broken bowl? What can you do with a broken bowl? Most of us just throw it to the trash, perhaps. Yeah? But you know what? God can use a broken bowl. God can transform this into a beautiful masterpiece. Why? Because he is a master craftsman. He's beyond us. He specializes in the broken pieces of our lives. Yes. Today I will talk about the brokenness that I went through as a leader, mistakes that I made, and how God can put it all together. 2 years ago, this was me lying in the hospital in Vietnam. I was working in Vietnam then. On the left, you can see I finished a half Ironman. Yeah. How can that be? But yet, I was lying there in the hospital bed. I suffered migraine for almost 2 months, and the doctor can't find out why. Until a point where I could no longer stand up, and the neurosurgeon put me into emergency, and they did an MRI scan, and they found blood in my brain. I had bleeding in my brain.
Hey, what control?
Wow! I said, what? Me? Yes. God is good.
You basically got
Surgery went well, and the doctor said, you know what? You know how much blood I took out from your head? A can of beer on each side. 300 milliliter, 300 milliliter. And not knowing then, but I was already drifting into coma. And I have this wonderful community who was with me then, praying for me in the conflict, and really miracle happened. I recovered very quickly and back to 100%. I'm running, cycling, swimming now, just like before. But, you know, God is not done with me. More of this later. A little bit about my background. like Christopher said, I started as a site engineer, spent 10 years as an engineer, and the rest of the 20 years, I was managing companies as GM, MD, CEO. But I did it in many countries. So started in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and moved to Indonesia, China, even Myanmar, just before the military coup. And the last one was Vietnam. And this is my family. I'm married to Sharon. Actually, Sharon is here. Most wonderful person I've met. I have 3 kids. My 2 girls are adults now. Oanne on the right, she's 28. Yeah, she attended True Success Conference last year. Yeah. She's in education. My second daughter in Melbourne, she's studying to be an educator as well. And my son, Wayne, is in pre-university. I'm a foodie, so I like to eat. So love to jalan-jalan, cari makan. And as a family, we like cafe hopping. I'm a big fan of sports, as you know already. So what I'm going to cover now is the 3rd module called Lead to Bless. Right? So what is Lead to Bless? So Lead to Bless is how to be a leader. You heard from the earlier session, from Pak Paulus, from Kayim, about build to bless companies. So that is one aspect. The other aspect is how are you going to build to bless company as a leader? So we're going to cover a few concepts. The first one has to do with the heart. The second one, the head. And the third one, the hands. So the heart talks about the character of the leader. The head talks about the talent. And the hands talks about the roles and responsibilities of the leader. So let's start with the heart, right? Let's start with the heart. So if you look around and like me, I look around for many business, you'll find all kinds of leaders, right? There are those leaders who are really toxic, right? Like one of the sharing earlier in our group, one of our members said, they are leaders, they are toxic, I'm sure you know what we're talking about. But yet, there are leaders who are empathetic, who is caring. So how do you put all this into a framework that makes sense? So Pak Paulus have created this framework, which is very, very fantastic. It's called the 7 leadership characters. And let me introduce them to you. First is the enslaver. So a slaver is consider himself high and the rest of the people as low. And then you talk about the thief. The thief will consider himself the boss and wants to take advantage of others for his own benefit. And then the taskmaster. And this is very common, right? Taskmaster. Right? Finish your job. Yeah, produce more. Right? Oh, next year I'm going to up your target another 50%, even though you hit record high, right? The taskmaster. And in the middle, we have the farmer. The farmer who pays attention to the health of the ecosystem and focus on productivity. And then the shepherd, we heard about the shepherd leader, right? Balance interests and well-being of the employees. The servant leader, and finally the parent. And the parent is the one that focuses on discipling his team. So, what trend do you see here? Do you see any trend from enslaver, thief, all the way to parent? Yeah, very good. You see, on the left-hand side, the leaders on the left-hand side see employees as resources, whereas the leaders on the right-hand side see employees as human, God's creation. So, to transform, to become a lead to blessed leader, is to move towards the right. So, do you see any of this? Firstly, in your company, but more importantly, do you see, oops, maybe I'm a little bit of that, right? So, where are you now? So when I first learned about this concept during my first True Success conference, this was so helpful. And I was really humbled to see, oh, actually, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet.
Yes.
Then, from the heart, we move to the head now. The head speaks about talents. So, in Lead to Bless, we learn to discover what are the talents that God has given you, and then how to make full use of that, which is talent, something that you cannot choose, right? Unlike character, you can make a decision, right? When it comes to talent, it's how God has hardwired into you. So our job is to first recognize our talent, and then once you recognize, then you can learn how to use it and how to help other people to build a good team. So what are talents? So again, Paul shared about the 7 leadership talents, which I will go through with you one by one. First, the dreamer. The dreamer is a visionary, capable of visualizing the future with creativity and innovation. So a dreamer is good at future focused, he or she is long-term, creative, and innovative. These are the strengths and weaknesses of a dreamer. Next, you have the architect. The architect is good at designing and creating blueprints to achieve the dreamer's vision. So what are the characteristics of the architect? They are good at designing blueprints, roadmap, flowchart, and transformation. So this is the architect profile. Next, the builder, who thinks about the work plans and resources required to realize the architect's blueprint. So a builder the language of the builder is action plan, execution, progress monitoring, right? Someone who is meticulous, careful, step by step. So this is the builder profile. Then you have the shaper. A shaper is very interesting because they are quite rare. They are the one who is the critic and capable observer. And if you need to improve the quality of your product and services to a very high level, you need to find shapers, right? But they are very difficult to work with, right? Because they are so critical at all the tiny mistakes. But you need them. That's the shaper. And then the harvester. What's the harvester? Harvester is a good communicator, negotiator, and who sees opportunities and possibilities easily. So typically, someone who is on the front line, business development, sales or marketing, these are the strengths of the harvester. And then the reinventor. Reinventor is someone who is a game changer, the ability to create new horizons and making breakthroughs. So if you want someone to think outside the box, look for a reinventor. They always challenge the norm, right? So the reinventor will ask, how can we do this differently? You know, what else can we do to change the status quo? And last but not least, the operator. These are the unsung heroes in every company. They execute the goals, the targets of the company. They are the ones who keep the ship sailing. They are the ones who most of the time work behind the scene. So all of you are benefiting from this conference. Why? Because we have a team of operators whom you may not know, but they are behind the scene making this happen. So there you go, the 7 leadership talents. How you can use it? Good question. Firstly, recognize your strength. Where you are. Are you a dreamer? Are you a builder? A harvester? Because none of this profile is perfect. You realize that if you are strong in one, probably it comes with weakness as well. Just like the dreamer, for example. But the dreamer is good at visioning. But then again, when it comes to actually putting it into a plan and executing it, the dreamer will probably not do well, right? And if you have operators in your company, and then you're trying to ask the operator, expect the operator, hey, please come up with a new idea. And they'll be look at you blank, right? So yeah. So first recognize who you are, your strength and weakness, and then you can start working together with others. So for example, if you're a dreamer, maybe you should find someone who is an architect or a builder and work together to come up with the vision and the plan, right? When you are a harvester, you probably need an operator because you win all the sales, the projects that come in, but you have no operator to execute, that will be disaster. So this is the second concept, which is the leadership talent, the head of the leader. Now I move on to the third part, which is the hands of the leader. So in the hands of the leader, there are many things, right? So we can't cover all. But on the left hand of the leader is the competencies of the leader, and the right hand is the loving hand of the leader. So what do I mean by that? So the hand represents the leader at work. So if you are leading a team, if you are head of the company, it's not enough to just sit behind your office and expect your team to do the work. No, you have to roll up your sleeve and join your team in the field and work together with them. And what do? You provide direction. You communicate the plans of the company to your team. You recognize the strength and weakness of your team members and put them in roles and jobs that utilize their strength. You find potential in your team, and then you try to develop them, give them opportunity to grow them. But don't get me wrong. If there is underperformance, you can't let it slip. You have to address it. You have to confront the issue, the person, and share with the person, look, this is not right? Set your expectation clearly, and then support the person to grow and improve. And sometimes, yes, if there's improvement, great. But if it's not, you have to execute discipline, like Junaidi was sharing. If someone breaks the rule and commit a crime, you have to take the action. Now, celebration. You have to, a lot of times, I don't know about you, but being Asians, it's very hard to praise your team, right? I mean, some of you are very good at it, but what I noticed, myself included, we're always so driven by targets and budgets. We forgot to celebrate. Forgot to celebrate. So I was sharing with one of my clients and say, hey, you know what? You should remember to catch small wins. Small wins. Say, what's small wins? Say, yeah, I mean, you have your annual target, you want to grow by 10%, but if your salesperson wins a new account, that's a small win. Make a big deal out of that. You know, give the person a Starbucks voucher, take the person out for lunch. You know, that's a small win. That's how you celebrate. And last but not least, compensation. You can't build a great company if you're underpaying your staff, right? You have to be fair. You have to pay at least to market rate. So that's the right hand of the leader, the loving hand of the leader. So there you go. The three fundamental concepts to be a lead to blessed leader. The heart of the leader, the head of the leader, and the hands of the leader. So, how do you be a lead to blessed leader? As I was preparing this, this is my third time sharing, and I must say that the last two times I did share about my success, but that didn't really help people. So I thought, maybe I should tell you how I failed along the way and tell you how not to be a lead to blessed leader. First one. So this is when I first started my career as an engineer, and it was the first time, this is a tunnel project in KL, building an LRT tunnel. And I have my first staff, which is a draftsman. He's on the left. So why I share about this? Oh, for your information, I used to have hair. Yeah. I never took time to really care for him. To me, it's all about work. You know, in construction, some of you in construction, like, it's all deadlines and you have to produce quickly the plans, the drawings, and, you have to work overtime. So I always tell him, man, we have to do this quickly, finish your job. And then sometimes I will tell him, hey, why you make so many silly mistakes? Please check properly. And there are times like, hey man, I'm so sorry I have to cancel your leave because tomorrow we have to do a concrete pour, right? So, and as I look back now, I said, was there a time, I tried to recall, was there a time when I took Zerman out and have lunch and celebrate and tell him how I appreciate him? It was not, I can't remember. I didn't do that. I forgot. I don't think I know his family, his dreams, his career goal. No, none of that. It was all about work. And when I look back at the leadership character, who was I? Yes, I was the taskmaster. I was the enslaver. That was who I am. It was all about my personal agenda and how I want him to follow the agenda. My first failure. My second failure. This is like fast forward 10 years later, and okay, I've learned to be a slightly better leader then. So this is my first job in leading a company. and I have about 20 people in the team. And this group is the technical department, right? So the business was in steel fabrication construction. So we were building pre-engineered buildings. So this was my technical team. So the business is very reliant on engineering. So you need engineers and draftsmen to design the building, right? And fabricate it and put it up. And what happened was, I had a very young but talented technical manager. And I've learned by then how to manage my team slightly better. So I'll spend time with all of them, my managers. And I always asked him, is everything okay? And he would say, yes, no worry, everything's okay. I say, okay. And I'll leave it at that, assuming that everything is okay. And the mistake I made was I never took the time to build relationship beyond his team. I didn't go to the next level and get to know each of them. So these are the engineers and the draftsmen in the company. So I left everything to him to run. And disaster strike. He left and he influenced half of the technical team to quit. Yeah, I lost half my technical team. Just like that. I said, oh, what happened? Oh no, what happened? As I look back now, I realized I failed. I failed at the hands of the leader. I was too busy chasing sales, attending meetings, meeting customers. I didn't roll up my sleeve and go down and talk to my technical team. I didn't do what I shared just now, celebrate small win with them. So they feel underappreciated, and of course, with a bit of negative influence from the manager, I became the bad guy, right? And that took half the team away. So this is my second failure, in the hands of a leader. Now, fast forward, this was like 6 years ago. And so Kay talked about 1 year BC. This is probably 0 AD. This is during COVID, yeah. And I was working for a Swiss company. We do the piping. It's a manufacturing company. They have a plant in Klang, and about 60 people, turnover about 50 million. And when I got this job, it was a very strange offer because all the past experience that I had was somewhere along the line with steel-related, construction-related, a bit of manufacturing, but this company is totally changed from steel to plastic. But anyway, I got the job, and I was pretty confident because I used to manage companies that are 5 times bigger than this one in Malaysia. So I thought, it's a piece of cake. And how wrong I was. I was overconfident, too proud at the time, and went into the job, and only to realize another mistake, which is the head of the leader. I didn't recognize my talent, and what the company expected was a different talent. I was really more of an architect type, reinventor type. And the company needed someone who is a strong builder and a harvester. So I have 2 bosses. One, they are regional bosses. and they wanted me to turn around the company. I went in, tried every single idea I had to turn around the company. Try this, try that, all the ideas that I've gathered over the last 20 over years, nothing worked. Nothing worked. And what happened was, I was demoted. So my bosses made me report to my peer. No, he no longer wanted to be me reporting to him. Maybe I will make him look bad. So put my reporting line to my peer. And to make things worse, COVID came. And when COVID came, you can't sell anything, right? All the construction site was closed. And you're pounded every month. Hey, your result is no good, no good. What are you going to do? What's your catch-up plan? Blah, 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 blah. And you probably run out of excuse. I ran out of excuse. And all I get over the teleconference was yelling, and oh, it's so bad that my wife will tell you a few nights before the month-end business review, I can't sleep. Yeah, I will get up in the middle of the night, it's stressed. Yeah. By the way, this picture of me, and it was on a good day. I had a good day.
Yeah.
There you go. I failed again. And I failed in the head of the leader. So let's recap. 3 things. Heart of the leader, character. We talk about the 7 leadership type. Enslaver, taskmaster, shepherd, parent. The head of the leader. Are you an architect? Are you a builder, operator, reinventor? And the hands of the leader. Are you rolling up your sleeve, going down? Are you doing your job as a leader? No, we ask this question because sometimes, right now, when I'm doing coaching, consulting, coaching, and training, some of my clients will tell me, hey, I want to grow my business. I want to double my business and all these things. But yet, if you ask deeper, are they doing this? Are they pulling up the sleeve? Or are they distracted? Oh, this is business A, maybe I will build business B. And then later I'll build business C, right? Can you focus? Right. Are you doing your role as a leader? So to be a lead to bless, you have to have all these 3 key fundamentals. So let's reflect for a while. Where are you now? Which kind of leader would you like to become? What is your talent? How are you going to put it together at your business? And how are you going to roll up your sleeve and go down and work with your team? You saw me in the hospital, and when I was in serious pain, the migraine was so mind-numbing, I cannot do anything. I just lie down. One thing, and during those long hours by myself in the hospital bed, I just asked the Lord, God, what are you saying to me? Please let me know, what are you saying to me? Speak to me. Why am I going through this? What's the purpose of this? And only to realize that my journey is not over. My journey is not over. And all these broken pieces, He has let it, He's allowed it. allow it to happen.
Yes.
All the failures that I went through, of course, they were successes. Remember the Swiss piping company? The story didn't end just like that. So what happened after 2 years of being in this very, very toxic job? I remember praying every single day and saying, God, please open the door. Give me another opportunity. I want to get out of here. And he answered, actually. He answered. I got a job in Vietnam. And I was quickly went to Vietnam. And really, but what's interesting was, despite not being able to turn around the company, it was in loss making, but during that time, I came up with 3 business ideas, 2 new products, product A, product B, and third one was a service. So when I was working in Vietnam, I came back and I spoke to some of my ex-colleagues. I said, hey, how was the 3 things that we created? How did it go? They look at me and say, you mean you don't know? I say, no, I don't know. You know, one of these went on to become the number 1 revenue generator of the company now. And our net profit is not single digit, it's double digit net profit. Wow, amazing. Wow, I just thought, oh, don't think that when you face a failure, that's the end. Because the story is not finished yet. And then another story is when I was in Vietnam, again, the business was loss-making in Vietnam. They hired me to turn it around. And we did. We turned it around. We made money 1 year later and the 2nd year later. But my boss was very, very tough. Very tough. Because why? Because he felt I was overpaid. So he said, sorry, you finish your contract, you go back. Yeah. So, all right. So I finished my contract, went back to Malaysia. And today, during that time, when I came back, I was jobless. And so I decided, okay, Lord, I'll take some time to take a break. And sure enough, the door opened again for another CEO job, another strategy director job with a public listed company, with another MNC. But something inside me has shifted. When I was in the hospital bed, I know God was saying, I want you to continue the race. But this time, you run a different race. And so I obeyed. I said no to all the jobs. I said, sorry, I'm not taking the job. And I went on to start a little company to just help other businesses and business leaders. Just helping them, which whatever knowledge and experience that God has given me over the years. And you know what I found out? I found out that your failures and success are the ones that make this a masterpiece. So I was talking to Poanne, my eldest daughter, who is an artist. So she told me, hey Dad, do you know how they make this in Japan? So this is the art of kintsugi in Japan. So I say, no, just tell me. So this is what she said. To do this, you have to take a piece, all the pieces of the broken pieces, and you have to sand all the corners away, right? Meticulously sand all the edges, the sharp edges. Remove all the shards and pieces. One by one, remove it. Think about it. Isn't that what God is doing? When you're broken, when you face a failure? Yeah, He's removing all this. He's removing all the character flaws, all the stuff that we carry, we don't even know is there. He's removing it. Removing your pride, your ego, your personal agenda, one by one. And what's next? Then, Moen told me to put the lacquer. It's the sticky stuff, the lacquer. And slowly piece them together. Then say, okay, got him, is it? Finished? Say, no. That's only the first round. Then you put, after you finish the first round, you have to wait for it to cure. Then you come back to it, second round of lacquer. Third round of lacquer. Each round of lacquer, you have to wait for it to cure. What is that? Healing. When you're broken, God will heal you. If you let Him, He will heal you. But it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And it goes one round, cure. Another round, cure. And finally, what's the final step? He told me. Then, the artist put the final round of lacquer with gold dust. You can see the gold lining? That's the gold dust. And then, voila, the masterpiece. That's how God does His master craftsmanship in our lives. That's how they put all your brokenness and failures together. So, with that, I will end with this. And just know that the story is still ongoing. And the master craftsman is working with the art. Thank you.
Lead to place leader in practice. So, Yan An mentioned regarding lead to place leader in practice, the failure story, not success story. We are all leaders. We are all facing failure. We are all facing success. Success is very easier to become a leader when you and your team achieve the target. But what if the people around you not achieve the target or you not achieve the target? Just during break time, somebody asked me, after you know this morning message that we have to stop the project because Big Boss didn't allow us to go, whatever reason, what did you do? So I said, I don't want to wait when I receive the message. I had to calm down myself first, and then I have to think my sheep, my team, who are working very hard, they are waiting for the answer, and they are waiting, what was my response as team leader? They are all expecting 6 billion ringgit project, days and night. And before the True Success Conference, I had to announce soon failure conference result. So what should I do? So I said, no. After counting myself, I wrote this. I wrote this to all my team. As a lead to press leader, I want to show, number one is the character of the leader. The character of the leader shows when you face this problem. Because they are expecting 6 billion ringgit. So I sent this email to my people. Boss, not stop. God's timing is always perfect. You know Indonesia? 80 to 90% of my team, they are not Christian. Yeah? Only a few, 10 to 15%. But I said, God's timing is always perfect. Not every delay is a denial. Sometimes we need to learn to pause, not stop. Because what isn't blessed today may simply be parked by God until the right time comes. When God doesn't open the way yet, it doesn't mean the door is closed forever. It may be that He is protecting us from deeper pain or setting something better for later. Like Lazarus who died, I said, Lazarus, who died but raised again because God wasn't finished yet. So it is with us. If a project, opportunity is truly from God, it won't go anywhere. It will come back in His time, not ours. But if not, we must learn to say, your will is best, Lord. Because truly, the best is yet to be done. Don't lose heart. Pause is not the end. It's a divine moment to strengthen our faith and enlarge our hope. And the response. So Saturday and Sunday, I have to relieve the peace after painful weeks. And Friday is the best day to announce something bad, you know. Friday. I hate to tell my people Friday afternoon. I always try to make announcement or tell bad things to my people Monday morning. But Friday afternoon, I'll try to make great announcement so they have Saturday, Sunday very happy. So I try to make factor of a leader. So I reflect myself. How can we become an example of lead to bless leader if we really don't give the example during failure? During failure is very important for us because lead to character is very important. So I mentioned to you, I will tell the story after the retirement. After I retired, lead to bless is really one who make me understand that without proper position power as a strat director, so can I help some company to really implement the 2 bless leader and the 2 bless principle in their company? So one company asked me, the owner of the company, 3G and 9G second generation, 9. So 3 plus 9, 12 people. So they asked me to, but can you help me to restructure my company to become go public ready? We are privately owned big company, but we run like this is a family business. Can you help me? I said, when I come and to see everything, exploring, and then I said, okay, yes, with one request. Every one of you should follow Build to Bless Principle training and Lead to Bless Principle training. That's a must. But of course, I have to change to one common, not Christian to everything. Normal. Okay, why? Because we have to set the tone. We have to have the same understanding how to lead people, how to lead the business. Build to bless is foundation of leading business, and lead to bless is the foundation how to lead the people. I said, agree. And they all agree, we started. And when we started, wow, why this company is growing very well, even though that they are big, the profit is okay, but they are not doing as expected by the first generation, because they are having difficulty in dealing with their people. People problem. So, such people cutting, they don't understand the difference between cutting off and pruning. And John 15 is pruning and cutting. If something is not good, they do cut or prune. But their heart, because of KPI oriented, cutting is the first thing. If they don't meet the performance, cut. So they think that cutting, I will ask somebody to replace everything. It's easy. For me in Astra, no way. Cutting is very difficult, because replacing somebody with the other family, it costs you something, right? So we have to balance between cutting and pruning. But at the time, cut. They're very happy. Cut. Oh, but for us, if they are not perform like this, cut. It's better to cut. Don't use heart to manage the business. Use your head against lead to bless leader. No way, the business is business. Use yourself, Apollos. But you invited me to lead you, to invite me to advise you, and I charge you a lot of money. You have to listen to me. If not, I will stop. Okay. And then I try to give them the perception. Cutting people is easy, but pruning is the competence that leaders should do. Because cutting and pruning, is not, pruning is okay, cutting a little bit to make them grow. Well, cutting is, you are not perform, this is the final day, Armageddon, die. So I said, bit by bit, and then until 22nd, 23rd month, we are going to something. I think, this is a positive point. 24 months, I said, now it's time for us, character of the leader, we have to decide this one. You asked me to lead the transformation, so give me opportunity. You have to follow my direction regarding who will be the directors, who will be the commissioners. From 9, I will select 3 people who can lead this transformation because of the character, not just competent. So I just need 3 directors out of your 9 people, but I will select, depends on their character. Competence number 2, character number 1. Because I think character will lead your organization grow. The target is 1 trillion profit for a couple years. Okay, it's easy for me if I have these people. 1 trillion rupiah, and not really thinking. And then finally, of course, I pray and I know this concept, lead to president, I know the talent, everything. And finally I said, this is the man. From the number 1, number 2, number 3, I select the youngest son of the youngest first generation. The youngest son from the youngest generation. You will be the CEO. The second is number 1 from the second JG1, you are the marketing. And in the middle of the first generation, you will become the production. When I propose this, the top, the first generation say, no. Papulus, I know my son, I know my daughter, I know my family. I propose this one. I said, the character matters. Character matters. That's why we are fighting, you are fighting all the way, because the character, even though you are family, when you met in the family room, boardroom, you are fighting like you are east and west. You are like a quote unquote like kickboxing. After that, and then maybe you can let's celebrate because we are family. But in the family boardroom, you are like fighting like you are not one blood, one everything. Why? Because you don't trust each other. This G1 trusts three children. This G2, three children. This G2, children. When you get together, you are not representing the company, you are representing your family. So I said, no. And I said, no, Bruce. If there is no, I think for me, I think it's very difficult for me to bring you to this level, to the next level. I quit. I said, wow. Yes. As a leader, as a lead to place leader, I have to know when to go on and when to stop. And I stopped. Cut long story short, after a while, they are going so many problems, including lately in the last 3-4 days in the Indonesian news, problem in dealing with me. And I said, we have to understand our people. And I lost the project. And I lost the project. Oh, maybe Lord. I said, okay, I don't have the project after retirement. And the second project, somebody is approaching me. Oh, Bruce, do you want to become my CEO after retirement? No. Enough. I want to spend my time with my wife, my family, but I want to have some different role, not just executive level. Stress, 38 years, and then now still chairman of audit committee of Astra and so on, stress. So I want to have a relaxing moment with family. And then finally, okay, can you advise me? This transformation, you want to go public, blah, 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 blah. Try to make, number one is build to bless and lead to bless. The talent is very important, everything important. Cut the long story short, yeah, after 19 months, they stopped the project. Because I think we have a different direction. Okay, thank you. And the other project, I try to help with my son, my oldest son. Big project, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is the project. We have to go. This one, property project, everything, this one, like this one. But if you want to do this, you have to release your hand. Because we need professional to run this company. And unfortunately, your son and daughter, they are not in that level. Do you mind to go outside to find somebody to lead this operation? And then, no, I know better than you. Stop, okay, stop. 2 projects, 19 months, and almost 2 years. I said, Lord, what's wrong with me? I tried to teach Lead to Bless. I tried to implement Lead to Bless. But finally, it's not so easy. Not so easy. But God doesn't stop there. Just 2 months, 3 months later, God gave me the project larger. This is number 7 in the industry. I got the project in number 1. And then this one is just what's called a normal project. I got and pay me 2.5 times higher the same time slot. I said, oh, this is that. So why? And then my insight is like this. As a Lead to Bless leader, you have to have brave and courage. Lead to Bless doesn't tell you to become a weak leader. A weak leader who always compromise, a weak leader who always say yes, a weak leader who say, no, leader, you should decide whatever. And I think if you know what to do with pure heart, God will lead you in the next direction. So my friend, Lead to Best Leader is not about popularity contest. It's not about good leaders. But great leader require you how to use the knife to prune part of that. And this is the hardest to do. You will make your company growing very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Paulus. Pak Paulus, do stay with me on the stage as I also want to invite Tianan and Kate to join me. Now, I hope you've been tremendously blessed by the sessions. I think this is my third. Some of you ask, how many TSCs have I come from? This is my third one. And every time I come, the life stories bring out the principles in a different way. So I hope it's been useful. So we're coming to a Q&A section. And as usual, there are two ways you can raise a Q&A. One is through Nobi. If you scroll down to the either Plenary 2 or Plenary 3, submit your questions there.
Thank you.
Or the alternative is you can raise your hands. We love people who raise their hands because it raises up the energy, a different voice in the room. Now, I quickly want to scan. Anyone has a question yet? Or while you're thinking of your question, maybe I will see the question first because I have one. So, to the speakers, we know that the journey of change of building a company to bless and lead to bless takes time. How did you make sure you were consistent throughout the journey? Because it's time. It takes a long time, not immediate. What's your tip to making sure that you stay consistent to lead to bless and build to bless? Any one of you? Tough one.
Yeah, for me, the most important takeaway is to be in a community that encourages you, where you can share regular basis of your trials, so that in that community we will be able to be authentic and share the vulnerabilities. And when that happens, then you get encouraged to do that. Of course, I like to. I like to read the Bible, so that for me is also important for others. But community is the most important. Thank you.
So I think it would be help on top of the community, what Kay shared, super important, is also to find mentors and role models, people who care for you, and so you can be accountable to them.
And for me, is back to Matthew 18, 19, 20, to Michael 3, and you have to have faith in Christ. Or husband. To me, I can stand like this because my wife is guarding me during that time. Please,
Give a round of applause.
Tell me right there. Very important because if you have problem, the only person that you can trust, the only person that they can pray for you endlessly is your wife. So I think both of you, if you pray together during this kind of things, and then you will be released. Yeah, and then you can pray together. So difficult sometimes to feel, yeah, as a leader in the business, you always say ups and downs. But today, my wife is very happy, even though 6 billion ringgit. Why? Because we are used to it. Hey, this one. I told him every day. I told him everything every day. Hey, this one. I will face this one. Whether I will be prolong my contract as an independent commissioner or not, this is the time. This is project. We have a big project. And Monday at night at 8 after we arrive, I will go to the big boss and feel very important for you to have a great relationship. Pray together. I always pray 5, 6, 6 to 7, and at night at 8 to 8:45, we have we call it in Indonesia mesbah doa together. Then make you strong.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. I think we have our first question actually on Nobi. So for those of you who have questions, you can raise your hands or put in Nobi. We'll look at the Nobi question first and see who that's addressed to. So, you want to go to the room first? Okay. Anyone in the room has a question? Oh, over here in the front. We'll start with the one in front, then we go to you after that, okay? So the lady in the front here first, right here.
This question is to Dr. Paulus. And those challenges that you shared just now, that you experienced about your faith projects, one after another, was there a time where you were so tempted to do something different? You're from Indonesia, and I mean, back here in Malaysia, I think we have some similarity as in we don't have to share that part. Yeah? So were you ever been tempted?
So the question is, Mark, have you ever been tempted, and how did you deal with it? Sorry.
Yes. Yes, I just told you the story in the result. But during the time, you know, as a leader, as a managing director, I always rush by the quarter lead, rush by the top leader, rush everything. As a leader, you have so many pressure. You have to do something. God, this time, give me just this time to compromise a bit. Nobody knows at this time. Fighting is not so easy. 1 week, 2 weeks, well, we fighting. Tempted to compromise always, all the time, except today. Always. But as I mentioned to you, pray. When I pray, and when I pray, I know the Lord will speak to us. So I always mention to you, if you have any problem, pray. Pray. In the morning, pray. And then God will give you confident, Lord, whatever it takes, I will take the temptation. One time, the temptation is always there, especially when your March, June, September doesn't meet the target. You have to open your ending March Q1, Q2 clear to the public. It's better to have slightly better than expectation March, slightly a bit better than expectation Q2, but Q3 better than expectation, so everybody, the investor will see happy. But if you have something, if I say yes to this project, I will get the numbers, something as a leader. Lord, this is a bit lah, this is normal lah, this is Indonesia, this is everything lah, this temptation. That's why if we just follow our head, not our heart, if you don't have a good relationship with God, in the morning, get up early and pray. Don't pray until you get up 6, 7, get up, pray 8, get up, pray 9. No. Dedicate your time. I want to pray at 5. And then God will give us. Temptation is always there. But how? Like Jesus, it said that temptation is there only by His word. He can stay. One.
One thing I pick up is, I don't know how many of you struggle with waking up at 5 o'clock. The bigger the battle, the bigger the discipline you need to fight the battle. So that's one thing I picked up from that. So thank you for that. Can we go to the gentleman at the back there for the question? Yes.
Test. Hi. Thank you so much for sharing your life stories and about your successes and some of your failures.
Your name, please.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry, I am J-A-Y. So my question is, what do you suggest we could do during the time of waiting after we pray? Because I believe all of us would hope that, immediately after we pray, some good things happen, or we get to hear some response from God, right? But it's those times where we can't hear God, or there's no response from God yet, or maybe just wait, right? So my question is basically, what do we do while we wait for God to answer our prayer?
Thank you. Brilliant question. Let me open up to the gentleman here. You don't want to be. Okay, go ahead.
It's a great question. It's a learning process. To know the heart of God and to learn and to hear from Him is a lifetime process. For me, I've waited and I didn't wait long enough. I made a mistake. But God is good. He always able to tell you, make the mistake back into good again. So that's what I always keep in mind. That's number one. And we always learn from mistakes. I learn from mistakes. So if you believe that you hear something and then you heard wrongly, then maybe you have to ask for forgiveness and then don't stick there. Don't be accused because the devil's accuser. Make sure that we repent and also to ask what. There's always hope at the end. So that is number one. Yeah. We'll listen to other people first. Kenneth.
Yeah, as I reflect on your question, Jay, of course, you want your prayer to be answered, and sometimes God do answer, but sometimes nothing happens. But as I look back, I realize that we think is also how God develops our character. Do we trust Him? Do you trust Him? Yeah.
Depends on the case. In terms of business case, for example, you have to have a cash flow problem, financial problem. You have to solve it in 3 months. You pray and you have to have set deadline. I have always mentioned to God like a Gideon, Lord, I cannot extend this beyond my capacity, beyond of company capacity. I have to have this cash flow problem, revenue problem, whatever problems until end of March. If until this time, I don't see the sign from you, but I will pray 21 days. I will pray, for example, Lord, I will pray 21 days before, 1 week before the due time. If I don't hear something from you, directly or indirectly, I will disguise this time. Because in the business, you cannot say to your people and your supplier, sorry, God didn't give you the answer yet. But you have to pay, my friend. You have to pay. I said, so I don't know, I'm doing this. Because as a business, sometimes you have to, and for example, during the project or whatever, but I need your advice or approval 1 week. Okay, let me do it. If I can do it now, okay, I'm an executive, so blah, blah, blah. I know this is my competence, I know this, you can do it, this one. But if I'm not that convinced, give me time. I will pray. But I cannot say, but President will inaugurate this toll road. You cannot say blah, 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 blah. Lord, this week, until Friday, if I didn't hear from you, from everything, I will decide this happen. Maybe it's right or wrong, but at least and pray. But sometimes, for example, like toll road, and suddenly when they got this 160 billion rupees, and that, where is the project? Okay, this one. Let's pray. Monday, you do that. If Monday he mentioned to me, but Monday according to the report, 4 kilometers still, soft soils, I will decide. I cannot say, oh, God is waiting. Lazarus is 3 days. Wait another 3 days. No way. Right? So if Monday or next week you came to me with the report, what 4 kilometers is still the same, so I will send 60 million budget.
Brilliant. So in short, set a deadline when you have that conversation with God. It character building to wait, and more importantly, remember yours again. Waiting. Take courage from a God of hope. You can make a call in between.
Business side, yeah.
Business
but
side.
The personal side, you have to wait until.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, let's look at our question on Novi. We've been waiting for that for a while. Oh, interesting. So, but obviously addressed to you. Let's start with you. But cutting and pruning, can you elaborate how to do pruning? What does that mean? What's the difference? And can you give us an example from your stories?
I know it will come because I did the question so that you will ask this one. That's my trick. And I have prepared. I prepare because this is nothing. Oh, I know somebody will ask for cutting and pruning. That's why I'm talking about cutting and pruning. And I prepare everything is already. So I read what I prepare for you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Prune or cut. Lesson from the fine and the workshop. You know, I'm a writer, right? So I love to read. But I know this question leads to my presentation. So it's okay. In the workshop, I prune, I cut. I manage people, I deal with stuff. Some shine bright, some slow to move. The question is, do I prune or do I cut? Pruning looks like passion, care. It's seeing potential still hiding there. It's calling out, hey, I still believe, but asking, will you choose to grow or live? Well, cutting, that's a different thing. It's when you have tried everything, training, chances, second calls, yet nothing shifts. The effort stops. Pruning says, let me shift this brand. Cutting says, time to change the stand. Pruning invests, hopes, and waits. Cutting accept. This cannot be fake. In pricing people, we don't just count time. We wait their heart, their climb, their grit. Not all growth is fast or loud, but effort speak. It makes us proud. So I pray as I work with ink and play. God, help me see the choice made. Give me wisdom when to pause, to prune in grace, or cut with cause. Excellent, right? Yeah. So in short, this is the art of a leader. Because pruning and cutting is in your hand. You will always see your people is you want to cut it off. But if you see your people to grow, I think it's very good. Just 28 is Monday. The president director of Astra Study, the name is Japetva. I asked him to join my team from finance director of Federal International Fund for multi-finance for motorcycle. I said, this guy is good. So I said, will you come to me, work for me as in Astra Infrastructure? I said, oh, I'm a financial guy. I'm a marketing and financing guy. I will give you chance. I know you have little potential. I asked him to come. Come with me. This is a project, infrastructure project and digital project. And he mentioned, Bruce, do you believe me that I can do it? Yes. I don't have any experience. I don't have everything. I like that. If you have experience, it's very difficult for me to grow, to develop you. I don't need your experience because you will lead different stuff. If you have experience, you will follow your experience. This is new. Yeah, digital is new, infrastructure is new. You have to come. And then yes. And then when yesterday they promoted to become president director of Astra Study, I said, what? This is a pruning. Pruning. Don't do that, and promote him. And one of the president director of Astra Property from ITP, Electronic Engineering, cum laude, IT company, SAP certified. So when I was in UT, I said, hey, I think you have to leave from the IT. You have to leave because you are so smart and nobody under you is developing because of you. So I want you to go up. What's wrong with me? No, because you are too smart. If you are too smart, something your sector leader will not do. But then God, I have to take the best of the best to grow someone else. Very difficult. Why? What's wrong with me? Many people ask, what's wrong with me? Not what's wrong with you. And then, okay, but this is my life. IT, SAP, and you learn how to become a chief financial officer, a CFO, finance. What? Yes. And then, cut long story short, when I leave, I promote her as the president director of Astra Property. And I said, Robert, property. I didn't have an experience in property. That's why I like you. Because if you do not experience, you will change as the property to the new direction. So cutting and pruning, you cannot see the potential from your people because cutting is easy using your health. But pruning, you have to.
Wow.
Thank you, Bob. And coming back, truth, care, and competence. I believe we have one more question on Nobi, and then we have one more in the room, right? So let's take these two. Let's me do the Nobi one, and I'll come to you, Seth. All right. Oh, this is a HR question, very close to my heart. Is succession important, and how do you identify and groom a leader? Let me start on this side again, and then we'll go on that direction.
Yeah, it is important because if God wants to be the head of a business, He doesn't want to be one generation alone. He wants to be many generations. It's a covenant, right? So that is important. How to identify and groom leader. In my case, it was quite obvious. My son is working, but if he hadn't joined, I would have to then identify, and luckily he gave me the runway to have my son join. So maybe you ask me next year, then I'll tell you a different story.
Sure. We'll see you next year. What about you in your lens here?
Yeah, unless you love your job so much, I mean, for me personally, every single role I take, one of the first thing to think of is the succession, right? It's very counterintuitive because in the culture, the Asian culture I came back is, you are the sifu, the kung fu master. You teach 9 stroke, you keep 1 stroke to yourself, right? Yeah, but lead to blessed leader is about like grooming your people. All right? You not only want to teach all your 10 stroke, but 11 stroke, 12 stroke, yeah, so that they can fly. So some of my managers that I work with today, they are CEOs and business owners. They run very successful companies. Yeah.
And Bob, for you, what's your one trick?
Succession is not important for me. It's critical.
Almost gave me a heart attack. So how do you identify the people with potential?
It's critical. Without successor, you cannot sustain businesses. So, succession. How to identify from the leader? Read to place leader and implement lead to place leader. There's a tip and trick in the book. Hopefully that it can help you how to identify and groom leader. But just one more thing. You can identify by tests, psychology tests, by everything. And I always mention this. Use your heart. If you use your heart, you can identify.
Brilliant. And as it goes, truth, competence, and
Care.
care, right? That's the heart. All right, we'll do the last question in the room over there.
Maybe that.
We've got 2 more questions. Can I ask, hang on a second, can I ask both of you gentlemen, put your questions on Nobi, we will pick it up there, and the community can engage with you as well. So please, can we do that? Unless we have time. Oh, we can? Okay. We'll come. Go ahead. Yes, can you introduce your names? Yes.
Okay, my name is Stephen. Regarding this Build to Bless, I have one question. After surrendering one project or one company to the Lord, I want to know what are the critical failure factors. Because what are the critical failure factors? I think our brother Go, is a top of failure more interesting. So because we always assume excited with success, but the key is I want to know if we fail, how do we prepare for the failures and the attitude behind?
So the question is the ending there. How do you prepare for failures and how do you come back from it?
I don't know that.
How to prepare not to fail, or how to prepare to fail?
Prepare to fail.
I'm trying to prepare not to fail first. I think that way. I think I did so many startups, right? I have also a mentor of some startups, and I believe that the critical factor of a startup is trust. If you have trust, and then you find that you can solve problems easily as a team. And number two is that from failures, also I learned that I should have started with companies. Before I start a company, I need to know what are my important, non-negotiable core values. If I have that, then I might take a long time to hire the next person, but that will ensure that that core value is there. But if I were to compromise on the core value and then hire the person because he's talented, then you will have crash. I mean, you will have problems later down the road. So I think I like to answer it from the way I think, which is around that line. So core values is critical, the non-negotiable ones, so that I have many cases where people want to come and work, but I said, sorry, it's just different core values, then I can't hire, so I just have to let it pass. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Mark, you want to jump in before the seafood go?
I think in the practical world, not a big, we have what we call the innovation team. We have what we call new business development team. In my company, we ask everybody to give us the idea how to grow this company. So this is a convention. So I always mention to people, not just dealing with this company, but also if you have another idea. So basically, every year, for example, 2019, when I was there, 2020, we have maybe around 30 ideas of the company. Yeah, to how to grow the company, how to grow, attack the customer, how to product everything. And at the time, I have to be ready only 5 to 10%. The rest. So I give them opportunity to perform. I set the budget. So for example, hey, this is the 20 million US dollar budget, and I have to ask my boss, give me 20 million budget to give new business adventure, whatever. And don't ask me for IRR, because this is just what betting project for the people who understand the company, who understand the customer, give it the budget. So I have the budget, and I prepare if the budget, for example, fail, 100% fail. So if I don't have that budget, it's very difficult for me. No way, your budget, your business should always success. So I think every year, for example, this year for 5 million, 1 million, I don't talk about number because my company in the profit is big, so 21 trillion, so just 5 million is small. But don't forget about the number. But I always, as a leader, prepare for the budget to have innovation, and if they fail, they learn something about the failure.
Yeah.
So I don't expect that new idea, new thing will be failed. That will make my company now is growing. Oh, they ask for all the new things, new way, IT things, everything under the budget limit. So, for example, if they are asking more than 10 million and my budget is 5 million, I have to select from that. This is 5 million. Good. So every year we have that budget. That's a practical application how I try to be ready to spend some for the benefit of the people, the potential of the benefit, the passion of the people to grow.
Brilliant.
This is like a training. Training you have to spend and no result. Why not giving them the money to think other thing business, and then if we fail, put it like a training course or something.
Yeah. So I just add to what Paulus and Kay was sharing. Yeah, I mean, I shared some failures, but behind that is also many successes. It's just that you grow in the valley. Yeah. You grow in the valley more than the mountaintop. One of the things I learned is the quality called grit. when you
CR.
fail and you bounce back. And this is also tied to the earlier question, how do you identify a potential? It's great. Just recently, I am working on a project where I helped the company go through a restructuring process, and we selected, they selected a person who is from operations. So my job as a consultant is to help him to become a general manager. Yeah. But I really work hard to help him. But in the end, he resigned. Yeah, because the pressure was too much for him. That's when I realized, hey, this quality is so important. This quality is so important. Yeah. I hope that helps.
Thank you for that. We'll come to the last two questions in the room. Because I want to give space for both of you, can you direct your question to one of the speakers up here? And we'll create this ways.
I'll try my best. Okay, first and foremost, thank you so much for sharing your failure stories. I don't feel so alone now. But I think maybe to give some context of my question, this time last year, my business partner got cheated. We were running a supercar rental business. We were doing about 10 million in revenue a year. Now, what happened was last year, one of my business partners got cheated and used company money and invested in some dodgy get-rich-quick scheme. What happened after that was he also borrowed money from loan sharks. I think that was when it was time to say goodbye. So we lost 5 million ringgit and we lost 3 very expensive supercars. My question to you will be, how do you... So, for Papalus and also for Tianan, you are the product of your business. Now, I've had to pivot from supercar rental business to what I'm doing now. I write books now, and I'm also a speaker. How do you put yourself out there with confidence when there is a pivot? Every time whenever you pivot from one thing to another, your credibility takes hit. Right? So how do you, one is how do you find courage to put yourself out there after experiencing such a significant event? That's one. Second one is, have you ever been in this place where out of a massive setback like this, that you develop something so good and you know that it's really from the Lord, but you just don't have the courage to put it out there? I've developed what I've needed to develop. I think during that time, God sent so many good people. And I think, interestingly, that happened after Accomplish Conference. So if there's anything, I'm starting from fresh, right? But if there's anything, I also find myself in this place where I've written a book, but I don't have the courage to put it out there. Reason why is because the marketplace around me sees the finished product. When they were seeing me in supercars, like, wow, Nikki's very successful. But when all of that happened and people knew about it, they said, oh, this guy is not as good as he used to be. But I think in our language, we know that through failure, there are stories to tell. And I have so much stories to tell today, but I don't have the courage to put it out there out of the fear. So I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Bob, and then Tim. They're directing to each other. One of you got to start.
Okay, coffee afterwards.
It's not so easy in the sentence because this is real. Yeah, I think I don't know the answer yet. Yeah, because I'm a professional, so I have unlimited resources, unlimited budgets. If this project fails, I can take this one. That's the difference, right? When you are profit owners, you have your own budget. When it fails, can I receive? Sometimes you don't have money, you don't have resources, don't have time. So I cannot relate to that. But as a professional, it's easy for me. Oh, fail? Okay, that's okay. Let's make another one. Let's make another one. But in your case, I think I don't know how, but let's discuss. Yeah. What is your real problem? What is anything that we can do as a group, as a company? Because that's a good challenge. It's a very good challenge for accomplished team to really reshape this business. But we have to have 3: truth, competence, and care.
Was times.
Yes. Tina, you got anything to add to that before we...
Now we can chat,
Okay.
Yes,
So appointment with you.
Yeah.
Appointment with you and use the community, I think is what the advice is.
Yeah.
Let's connect on that. I want to open up to you, the last question. You've been patiently waiting. Would you like to ask a question still? Look at you. Yeah. Wait, who was it with the question? Was it one of you? Oh no, you. Okay, sorry, that gentleman there. For the lady who is considering a question, then put it on Nobi. We will engage that as well. You put it ready? Okay.
Hi, sorry. My name is Wai Kiong, and it's a question to you guys actually. You know, in the Bible it says that rich men don't go to heaven generally.
No, I think it says it's more difficult for rich men to go to heaven than that kind of thing.
Sorry, yeah. I gave it a bit of a slant. Sorry. So it's very difficult for rich men to go to heaven, and here we've got three very eminent people. And what was your motivation and struggle at the time for you to submit to the Lord? What was the challenge that you faced? Because I think sometimes the difficulty is when people get successful, they forget about the Lord. Yeah.
Wow. Gentlemen, very good closing question. Over to you.
It's me start first. Well, I think most important is pride for me. When you reach, why you to be rich? You want to be famous. It's because at the end of the day, it's your heart. That's what Paula said. It is a matter of the heart, and pride is probably for me the main reason. And so, how to turn from pride to humility? It's a long process, but it's a continuous process. I always look at myself and say, oh, maybe this year I'm less proud, but then next year I can even somehow I get a level lower, and that's how I do it. But I think, rich is relative, but I mean, it is at the end of the day, it's not how rich you are, it's a pride.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to riches, you can very quickly go from hero to zero. Yeah. So for me, it's really the concept of have you surrendered? Do you still have this connection with things, you know, what you own, what you have, or you have been able to shift your paradigm to you don't own anything. I'm rich, I'm super rich in heaven.
No, I think it's more there. But the thing I want to give you some perspective is we have war every day, struggle every day. Like me now, we struggle. Even though I'm trying to advise 3 big companies to be a co-operative, it's really struggle. So I think we are facing more and more, especially after the 2nd of April.
What's the point about this? And
We are really having a different wave of business, wave of managing people, wave of managing the business. So now we all accept the problem is the one who can. So basically, the poor people, employee can sleep well. The rich people cannot sleep well. So not only difficult for rich people to go to heaven, it's difficult for rich people to sleep.
All right, with that, please join me in giving a round of applause to our panel. Thank you very much, gentlemen, again. Thank you very, very much.